Welcome back to another episode of The Verdict. This time around a little bit different. We are still here at We Buy Cars, but now we've added Freddie's legacy spice to our meat because we are celebrating Heritage Day. Yes, the loss against Argentina was disappointing yesterday, but we will be celebrating us as South Africans and our South African heritage. Our history and heritage is filled with adversity, but we get through it just like we know that our Springboks will get through it as well. No better way to celebrate than with a box, braaivleis and beer. So we will dig a little bit deeper into that performance of the Boks against Argentina, and afterwards we will enjoy our braaivleis. Dylan, will you take over, please?
No problem.
You're from We Buy Cars, but now you braai cars.
Good. Okay.
Welcome guys, so the braai's going outside. We are wearing our Springbok shirts for Heritage Day and we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that performance, guys. Late night for the two of you.
Kick-off. I don't know if it's ever been done, but we checked in and checked out simultaneously out of our hotel. If that could ever be done. Got into bed at 2 and we woke up at 4, whatever it was. So feeling fresh, hence the coffee. Thank you, boys.
Nice. And the performance, Shimi? Disappointing?
Yeah, look, I mean, just obviously the end. It wasn't nice to see us lose right at the end. But look, we had a positive start. It was a game with many storylines. The reality is we probably shouldn't have been in that position where we needed a kick to win it for us at the end. But, you learn from it, you move on. We still got an opportunity to win the Rugby Championship at home in front of our home crowd. But we probably should have wrapped it up yesterday in Argentina.
I wonder if we've ever, being 17-0 up, if we've ever lost a test match with such a big lead.
7 tries in the first half, none in the second.
Yeah.
26-22 to Argentina in the end of the first half, and then it became a proper arm wrestle. And normally when it's an arm wrestle, you see the Boks come out on top.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned in an earlier episode that this might be the year the jinx comes back to us. The 1 point loss, the win turns to the 1 point loss. But obviously you feel for Marnie because he actually was really good when he came on.
Yeah.
Tactical kicks, obviously had the one blunder where he kicked it into touching goal. But, at international level, that's straight bang in front, a little bit off to the right, 30 meters. His warm-up kicks will be those. That's what he warms up with. So disappointing result as well, but also, the Bok defense. When last did we see a Bok team concede 4 tries in the first half?
Yeah, and there's so many similarities, John, between the All Black game against Australia and the Springbok game. You look at the All Blacks got off to a flyer. All of a sudden at the end, it became an arm wrestle again. You're thinking, you're dominant, but you're actually not converting that dominance into points. And I thought that's what happened with the Springboks. But look, again, well done to Argentina. It's a fantastic result for Argentina. They backed up 2 good performances. It was, blood and guts from them, I must say. Look, the scrum was going back at the rate of knots.
Their line-out was malfunctioning at the end.
Yeah, exactly. There was pressure. When Eben came on, he started stealing a couple of balls. But they hung in there, believed. It was, from watching from here, that crowd looked like it was going
amazing,
wild.
yeah.
It looked amazing there. So a fantastic result for Argentina.
So where do we sit? Where does the Bok team sit now in terms of the progression of the team, in terms of new guys being blooded? So reality is a lot of guys didn't play. No Sia, no Eba, no Peter Steff, no Bongi, no Damien, no Willie Leroux. So loads of experience not there. Where does this rank? Should we have perspective and say that Argentina, semi-finalists last year in the World Cup, they've beaten the All Blacks, they've beaten Australia this year. They just the quality team, and on the day we weren't good enough, or is this a big setback for the Boks squad?
You're right. You got to give context and perspective. We did rest a couple of players. It was opportunity for all the other guys, but we did a lot right for the first half of the game. The beginning
first
of the game.
13 minutes was perfect.
Yeah,
14,
and you know, in Argentina, when they get on that roll, it's probably one of the hardest things to stop. Australia couldn't stop it, and New Zealand couldn't stop it. When you start feeding them, they've got this natural chemistry where they handle the ball well, they link well between forwards and backs. Also a well-coached team with a lot of belief, players spread all over the world. So when they do put it together, especially away from home, it's difficult to stop. That's probably the one big learning.
You're never comfortable in the box. It's not a comfortable place when the Springboks lose. Not for us as public, but also not in the changing room, especially. They feel that they heat the most. But I think Rusty's got to stay true to what his plan is for 2027. And he said in a press conference before that we're going to feel some pain. We're going to expose players. We've got to see if these players can handle the pressure now. And if they don't come through that test, you know, we know that 27 World Cup is not going to be involved. And I think that's just part of how the Springbok team is growing. By all accounts, we wanted to get it done. You know, now we go to Mbombela. They're going to be up for it. I don't know if they can back it up, because that would have taken out of them. Yeah, a fair bit out of them. The travel, but also, like, you know, the Boks would have dominated the stats, you know. Like, we bossed the game pretty much 60% plus both territory position. You know, their scrum is really malfunctioning. So too was their line-out in the end. And, like, how do you play around that? You know, we don't know. Like, on their ball, you know, the straight feed is something of the bygone. They basically just chucked it straight to the 8. You know, so you couldn't get to them on their scrum. On our scrum, you know, we were absolutely dominant. But, like, physically, they were up for it. Their defensive set straight after halftime, when we had that 22 entry, was especially impressive. So, yeah, I think, you know, the big worry for us will be defense. You know, we caught in 2 systems, and you sort of start picking that up. In the past, we were all rush. Now we're trying to do a bit of a hybrid. And the way they found space in attack with, you know, attacking our pillar with the inside ball. We saw Ireland do that with that goal and dropouts, was a bit more flamboyant style, where it was a bit of a switch between 2 props, but also the change of direction, late sweeps, and always having that release valve for the shoulder ball. You know, I think for us, if we don't commit fully to coming in and we sort of back off, we create dog legs, which, you know, unfortunately was exposed on the weekend.
This game for me was kind of 2 elements. One, errors, kind of unforced errors and handling errors, giving possession away. And then when you had, so we look at the first 14 minutes of this game and total dominance from the Boks. Okay, and Argentina just couldn't get a grip on the game. Then after the 14th minute, you know, they took over, and then again South Africa, no chance to get a grip on it. And we'll see the ebb and flow of the game where we make silly mistakes, hand over possession again, and then kind of not able to claw back into it.
I know, John, sorry. I know we, you want to say, don't be sorry, Scott, but we, you know, it's okay. Like, we conceded 10 penalties. Yeah. Which is a big no-no for us. And they conceded whatever, more.
Just, I think 13
or 14. But 10 penalties for us is, you know, is crucial for the Boks. We function on having, you know, 6, 7 penalties a game, 5 maybe.
And the yellow card.
So, and a lot of them was unforced, not rolling away. And, you know, obviously the referee has a trigger. If you get trapped, you get blown. You know, he doesn't let you play it away. Jaden Hendrickson, we got the penalty that Mani got exactly the same. You know, a bit of gamesmanship, lands on the guy trying to roll away, makes a song and dance, and actually gets the penalty out of it. So it's unforced errors, big time, that allowed them to get 22 entries, and they're effective when they get 22 entries. You saw that against New Zealand.
Yeah, and the thing is also, it's joining the dots once we got a dominant set piece. So a good scrum has got to go with a good line out or a good kicking game, because that's how you double up on it. Otherwise, it's pointless winning the scrum, getting the line out.
What do you do?
Yeah, and then you lose the line out anyway. It's general play, they kick. One thing they are good at, though, when it comes to broken field opportunity, they change the kicking strategy a lot. Albano started kicking long and deep, almost forcing us to run it back. And Fassi looked dangerous all the time. So in terms of individual growth, there is plenty of growth. You know, you look at that stage where we lost momentum, we let them back in the game, they got that roll on. And that's probably what's going to be the big learning, is that you need someone to stand up there, especially when a team's coming at you, come up, devise plans. Because we didn't really, at some stages, it looked like we didn't have answers defensively.
No, we didn't.
So every mistake we made looked like, you know, they were making meters or they're close to a line breaker and offload where they could open us up a bit.
And even missed tackles from our point of view, which is just so unlike the Boks. A quick word, before we go into it, quick word on Felipe Contempomi as coach. I mean, you know, you saw, from my point of view, a way more composed Argentina. You know, before with the anthem and all of that, you know, sometimes they're very emotional, but way more composed, going into a 17-point deficit and then being able to come back.
Second week in a row.
row. Yeah. So I mean, that's. It seems like he's got the ability to get the best out of this team, and also strategy-wise, you mentioned about the change in the kicking game, etc., etc. He's definitely one for the future.
Yeah, look, and you also look at the sides. Scalvi plays for La Rochelle, Montoya, Leicester, Gasho plays for Benetton.
Yeah.
The two young locks, we hadn't really seen a lot. Kremer, you know, Gonzalez came on. Obviously, Pablo Matera, you know, Betrono. You know, Alban was there. It's a good chocolate. Barros was good. So some really good players.
For me, it's all about their backline and the tempo they can put on the ball. And what was different for me this weekend is like that second man play, they played them like 3 in a row. And it was a late sweep. And also like, you know, one middle scrum where Lukania got caught a little bit too tight. It's like how late he came, how quickly he shifted on the ball, which makes it hard. If they come early, it's so easy to pick them off. But they were sitting right in behind, took it to the line. And we found it really hard to deal with that.
That happened only late in the game. The start to the game, though, we could not have asked for a better start from the Boks.
Absolutely.
I mean,
perfect.
If you look at, firstly, the kickoff, you know, Jasper Wiese kind of taking it off. He probably could have let it go as well. They get the line out, knock on immediately. And what comes then?
Scrum, look, it's the best start for us. It always reminds me of Australia at Suncorp. If the Springboks get an early put in on their ball, then it's a statement in terms of scrum and what's going to come here. And Ox here puts as if Medrano puts, Scalvi, lifts him completely, I guess, off his feet, dominant as anything, one winner here. Then Argentina will fear us in terms of scrums, and they won't want us to put the ball under.
I mean, how do you get back from a scrum like that, Jimmy? I mean,
chase to the ground, win the hit, get forward dominance, but you can see the Springboks from that hit. You can just see from the hit, already there's a bit of forward momentum. That's the power coming through. And Ox in chase, I think Scalvi opened up his chest too much.
Yeah.
Gets underneath there a lot. He's taller. Ox obviously a lot shorter. Got underneath him. Once he starts popping him, lifts his neck up there under the chest. There's only one way you're going to go. You look for oxygen, and that's right up.
Air miles. He got some air miles.
Get excited, right? There's a lot of scrums here. You're going to get very excited today. Unbelievable kick from Pollard.
Yeah.
You know,
and he, you know, like people, you know, Marnie missed one, but he took the same risk that Pollard did.
Yeah.
And I feel you've got to do that. You've got to get as close as possible to that 5, but you've got to build in a small little safety net. You know, rather kick it 7 meters out than kick it dead. They defended our maul really well on the weekend, Sham.
Yeah, they did. We look good on the attack. Actually, as a backline from these plays, the interlinking and just the ability to create this space. Beautiful line from Fassi. And a great pass by Andre Pollard. That is an area where he struggles sometimes on the move.
And I'm also able to square it up nicely, give it back. Yeah.
And you can see, like, it's just that little, it's almost a little bit late, but Mapimpi's shoulder ball keeps the defense tight. And then the face ball, and, you know, like, it must be nice to be that fast. That Fassi's got such nice acceleration and pace. But also for Andre, I think especially the first 14 minutes was like one of the most complete attacking performances I've seen from him in a while, encouraging, turning the corner, you know, even there, like in motion, off his left hand, often we see him turn his shoulders and just sort of float it.
But even with that previous one, again, understanding that it's that combination of Lucanio Jesse Creel, 100 Pollard, Makuzolo Mapimpi in a confined space, small area.
It is,
you create the space there, and then you have the play on the outside that actually, the space that's created on the outside.
Yeah, the ball can beat the player, but you can't do it wide or can't do lateral. You can't come out and show too early. So that was beautifully worked.
Breakdown battle, we said before the game, even that will be big. I thought Michael van Staden had a good one in terms of this. Here we see a turnover from him, so quick on it. And that led to the try. Again, being able to move from defense into attack, getting into our shape very quickly, and everybody being on and being an option.
Yeah, Jean, just if you can go back there slightly, look what Van Staden does here. He actually steals the ball, then he doubles up on the rack.
Yeah.
And he actually rescues it here. So he gets the steal. So Van Staden's gotten the steal now. So first of all, you look at there, he's just waiting there. So he doesn't come, he almost waits for that ball to come up there. So he's waiting there, waiting, gets the ball here. But look who makes that clean now. The ability to get back on his feet again.
First
look at that.
Cleaner there.
That could have been another steal. He wins that ball there. So brilliant play from Van Staden. And then also, what I enjoyed a lot in this game, especially the early stages, the linking between the forwards and backs.
Yeah.
Because that will always give you width. Saman Morat, they could have easily taken the ball up and created another rack. But that gives you width the whole time, as long as they start linking beautifully like that.
And actually, Salman had a couple of nice touches, especially early on in the game. Just small touches, being able to shift it one channel wider rather than running it up.
Yeah,
but again, like...
I love how dynamic that ruck is.
Yes.
Ben Jason Dixon, you see a la Peter Steff, takes it to the line. Jesse Creel.
Beautiful line.
So nice when your centre's front up and runs that little face ball. It just happens too quick. But I think, the standout feature for us in this game was our attacking breakdown compared to New Zealand. And you can just see like how little shoulder battles there was in the game. Like we were there first.
There was an urgency.
Yeah.
There was an urgency to clean. And even just before that, there was the risk of Ruan Norkia basically, blowing over, but they pulled out.
Yeah.
And that showed the intent of how we wanted to blast that ruck open against them.
Now, this is the concern. 14 minutes into the game, Argentina, they have not had any ball. First opportunity they get, and they expose us in the outside channel. And I think this is the concern for us is, you see there, we're just not as, whoopsie. So actually, if I
Switch around now.
take it back a little bit. Just going to play it again. So you see, just have a look at the 10. Check how he's pointing, even pointing that way. But obviously knowing that they want to sweep that way, exposing our defenders, their missed tackle. And through they go.
We look pretty set defensively. It's just missed tackles there, because I actually thought maybe we didn't fold enough, but we had enough numbers down the blind side. That's just individual areas and missed tackles. And obviously looking at the catch-up defender on the inside, that was testing him pretty hard.
Like I love the way how they found space, how they sweep, but you've got to push up on both sides. And Hanre just, doesn't really expect it. He's a little too wide. And then the same year, a little bit late in the set, Marco van Staden gets beaten by Chocobaris on the inside ball. But lovely, this is a plan they would have had. You'll see later when they score the try of the quick tap and go, the ball squirts out, but they're already on the sweep with Albernos and Delgui in that instance.
This one, just again on the breakdown, mentioning Marco van Staden, again, just so good at tracking back, making the tackle, on it immediately. Now the problem with this was, again, that was pretty much a try-saving,
Yeah, it was.
try-saving turnover. But what happened post this, we get the penalty, he goes back to the penalty. What happened just prior to that is the yellow card. Now we'll see the replay of the yellow card on Kurt Lee, and this is tough.
We highlighted last night, we were working on the game where there was a side angle where he actually hits him on the chest and forearm first. And then what happens after this, like both of them sort of dip down and then the shoulder slides up. But that's super harsh for a yellow card, that, because, that happens every instance. Both players have dipped. There's massive mitigation. For me, if you want to give a penalty, but no yellow card.
The hard thing, the first point of contact was the chest, and then he went down like
Chest
that.
and hand.
Yeah, chest and hand.
Yeah.
Then the chin went onto Curtly's shoulder. But the thing is, it
There's
sounds like we've
contact.
been incredibly biased with the Springbok jerseys here. But if you watch it from the other angle, initially when I thought it was initially a hit, but then you watch it from the other angle, you can actually there's clear separation. He goes down on it, but that's a hometown director's angle, and the crowd. Also, this is very similar to the French crowd. They start whistling, start booing, so there's a massive influence.
Yeah, it's nice and sterile when you watch it in a confined space or in a studio, but when you're there's massive pressure on the referee to make a decision.
Now, here's a key one for me. We down a man. We get the scrum. We know we're dominant in the scrum already. We decide to take Ben Jason Dixon out of the scrum to defend at 9, and Kobus Reinach moved to the right wing with Kurt Leof. In my view, and I want you to have a look at the way that we then defend this, but also, would it not have been a better option to keep Ben Jason Dixon in? You have that dominant scrum, you have a proper go at maybe getting that left shoulder up, which takes away the option. In any case, you keep Kobus Reinach here, and he can close it then from the right-hand side. Or was it just so difficult for us to get dominance on their scrum?
With the way the guys are hooking and the way the scrum halves are putting, notice say hooking, the way the scrum halves are putting that ball in, your timing has to be so good to get that ball in and out.
You got no chance.
Yeah, you got. It's hard. It's changed now. I mean, it's a 2-second scrum that ball's out quickly as, you know. So chances are, look, I understand the thinking behind this, but then you got to make your one-on-one tackles, get your spacing and alignment right, and then make the hits.
I get John's point. Like,
Yeah,
you'd rather have 8 in and have a go at the scrum and then still buy time, because we were caught between a rock and a hard place there. We've got 7 forwards. Ben Jason Dixon's cover scrum off. He's out of the defensive line anyway. Just go 8, and then you have your normal. Because now what we do is we leave Kobus Reinach on the right wing, and then eventually he misses the jump completely. Because this is again where I think our defense is lacking a little bit from previous years. It's like we had one system, and let's go. And you'll see we nearly catch them. Second man, third from last. And then normally our wing would be straight next to him, catch the second last man. No one cares about the last one. Our scramble defense will get them, but we're not quite there at the moment.
Are we happy with the spacing there? Look, we look incredibly tight.
It's tight here, but then again, if you close them up, if you have a harder line, then you can stop it all by the time they get here. They were not able to get it.
If you look between, there's no threat in between 9 and Albanos there.
Yeah.
So if you look at that spacing there, if everybody goes 1 meter wider, that gives you a bit more width. It almost takes you onto the 50-meter line.
Yeah.
But you see that, so there again, Jesse works hard to fill the gap. But this is the problem.
This is where I think the main difference comes.
Exactly. So we're in between here. They're pushing hard. And now you'll see actually Andre go a bit further. Jesse stays softer.
The pass, we just swim straight past, get to Chocobares, get to the next.
In between the passing.
But in credit to them, like it's out the back play, look at the options. Everyone's swimming around. Andre misses him.
Late.
Obviously, Kobus Reinach's now on the right wing, not his preferred position. He misses the jump and goes in between both of them. You know, it's not often we make 3 errors in one defensive set, but it happened last night.
But with the rush then, so Andre had an opportunity to kill that ball and all.
Yeah.
Because Argentina did well to actually, with the rush, to get that pass over the top and actually still have pace on the ball and get that momentum going through. Because even if he goes and it's a longer pass, the scramble defense, it buys time for the scramble defense to at least make a tackle, get into the 5-meter line, then you've got line speed coming up again.
And this is quite a difficult thing to fix because it's out wider channels, it's decision making, it's one-on-one. It's not like, you know, we saw with Marco van Staden's previous turnovers, it's a tip ball, someone just looking past the tip. You know, that's easy, that's tight spaces. Out wide
system.
That's a system error that we've got at the minute, and that's coming again this week in Mbombela.
So definitely a work on for us from a defensive point of view.
Oh gosh! Come close the door. Close the door. Come.
Hey, it's me, your car.
Wait, what?
Guys, you know I love you. Half of you were made on my back seat. Scrubs for me as well. We've been on holiday together. Chrissy, your first kiss was in my boot.
What?
Sorry, I didn't know that was a secret. But there's 9 of you now. Small one. I've stopped learning the names. You're slamming my doors like a teenager. Jaden, milkshake. 2 hands. Number 5, elbows.
Sorry.
Every morning I get stuffed like a Christmas chicken. Guys, sell me to We Buy Cars. Get yourself a nice combi. Let me start over with a new family. No, don't cry. Here come the wipers.
Time for a change? It's as simple as We Buy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
So defense certainly not as confident and not as solid as we were in the past.
This is a team also, Jean, we'd conceded 5 tries or something before this game.
Yeah.
We're the best defensively in the rugby championship.
And
all the other teams went double tries.
This area, though, a bit of, you know, they got away with this one. I thought we defended well, but then just getting the ball away. Unlucky?
Yeah, unlucky, yeah. You know, we gambled by going up, and they do the front peel, and Ox recovers so well, it gets the ball away, finds the right man.
Yeah, I mean, you can't expect Mapimpi to stop.
Yeah, I think it's Mapimpi, and I don't know who goes low on him. I think it's maybe Marco van Staden, but yeah, you got no chance.
That's 130 kilograms.
Yeah, you got no chance there. But like, I think we gambled up front. We might have been in trouble with a straight maul, but they come into Ox. Ox, he was phenomenal, by the way. Not only scrum, the way he carried on the weekend was... And he gets it away. I think it was Materio got it away, which is an awesome offload. And then, you know, right body shape to find there. It's unlucky. It's one of those you look at, you know, 9 out of 10 times you've defended it well. Unfortunately, this time not.
He does well to dip nice and low, the prop, actually. Scalvi dips nice and low. He's a big boy, so it's difficult to stop from that position with a little bit of momentum.
I mean, the props, they don't score that many tries. So, I mean, when you get close.
And also we know about that front peel. They've hurt us in the past. So you can see our players swimming across that front ball. They were expecting the front peel there.
Couple of tries conceded, 3 tries conceded from our point of view. 29 minutes into the game, you've yellow card back on. Now you get the opportunity in the 22 to get back into it.
Yeah.
And this is where I thought the small moments again in the game where we just didn't get a grip on it. A little play around there, sloppy once again. Just sloppy.
Yeah, sloppy. Yeah, slippery ball. Humid there.
Actually looks like an offload, but it isn't. He hits the deck and then it pops out of his hand. But like, you know, that's the biggest get out of jail card for any team against the Boks, because what you don't want to be doing is defending for extended periods in your own 22, because that's where you really get a hold of you.
Because besides the early tries we scored, up until this stage, we didn't have opportunities to put pressure on their defense at all. Yeah, I thought we defended really well.
Yeah,
watch out
this phase.
Watch out for Kobus
Reinach, yeah.
Reinach
Actually,
shot,
2
yeah,
tackles.
Proper.
He makes one there,
Look at Materia.
there, and then back immediately.
And Materia was, look, he's going for it.
Yeah.
Stop short.
So great effort. And I think, you know, perspective is always good with this. I think that the effort was still there from the Boks.
Yeah.
You know, we can never, you know, the way they put their bodies on the line, yeah, you can never fault that. But it's just, I suppose they weren't clinical enough in terms of what we did from an attacking or defensive point of view.
Yeah, it's hard to defend that because they're so effective with that little pick and go. You've got to be behind the try line, and you've got to try and dip below them. They've got good short body shapes in that area. And they go to the pick and go here. And even though it squirts out the back of it, you can see the intent was already there. Albanos was sweeping with Delgi. And it's one way to get rid of the line speed that we possess, is playing down into that blind side.
It almost helped them, the fact that the ball squirted out, because it was
quick.
Quicker ball. Yeah.
Petrono just does the right thing. Mapimpi had to go all in there.
Yeah.
It's close to the line. You don't have time to sort of shadow or give a soft shoulder.
He's got to make a skill set error or decision. You've got to get him.
You got to get him and just flip and wrap your hands around him, wrap the ball, hopefully create a ruck and look to reset from there.
34 minutes, 4 tries conceded.
Yeah.
And
Obviously
certain things we raise his head is Alana. Like it's been malfunctioning in the wrong areas of the field. It's almost like we, as soon as we get into that attacking area, it's not too bad in our 22. Just outside of that, when we try and force the back ball or we pair a lineup up with a starter play and we want to have middle back ball, we lose that. And it's such a frustration for us because you feel there's so much to offer from this Bok attack.
Yeah. And we saw that the previous lineup that we just saw, this one, same thing. We have a go, but again, it's sloppy, not being able to get momentum. Yes, penalty conceded.
Yeah.
And they actually defended pretty well. And then again,
Exceptional
Kobus
from
Reinach.
That's his
trademark.
trick. That's his magic trick. That incredible.
And it's so good.
Yeah. When that happened, I thought, okay, cool, we're gonna come back now. This is it, with a bomb squad still to come. You know, there's still a game left here. And you almost got the feeling that Argentina had their moment.
Yeah.
And this was it. It was our time to come back now.
Crucial score for us, whether it was through the maul or the quick tap.
But it was, you did get that feeling.
Yeah.
But now that's first half done. Okay. What did we, if you were the coach, what needed to change? So defense we've identified, and I think we can agree that it didn't really improve in the second half, even though no tries conceded. It was a very different second half to the first half. The rest of the game, what would have been the big change?
Look, it was one or two individual things. You look at that knock on the ground, the key moments, a missed line out here and there. So it's difficult to pinpoint. The reality is, when we were doing well, they were conceding penalties.
Yeah.
The penalty count was ticking, towards their direction. Then the momentum shift happened when we started conceding penalties, which is going to happen. But then you got to defend as well as you attack.
Yeah.
So it seemed like we attacked well, but they wouldn't have the same energy and intensity on defense. And I think there's probably a disconnect between the two, whereas on attack we had energy, we're flying into breakdowns, everything. Defensively, the one-on-one tackles, we're actually missing a lot of those.
So a big thing I want to showcase now in the second half is, again, how dominant our scrum was, but not being able to get points on the board because of that. And I think that is a concern in a way, because you put so much effort into it. But like you said earlier, you know, if you get a scrum penalty and you can't kick the penalty, or you can't kick it out, and your lineout's not functioning, then you're not going to get points on the board. You're going to have a fantastic scrum, and you're going to get very excited, but you don't get points on the board. Perfect start again. We scored just before halftime. We get the 3 points after halftime immediately. They kick
Like our kickoff receipts was amazing on the weekend.
but
Something
the-
we weren't great at, but they kicked that into touch.
Restart-
Ron Orkeer bossed that area this weekend. He was awesome.
So they kick it out directly. We get the scrum. From that scrum, we get the short arm,
Which is the new law, which doesn't help us.
which doesn't help us.
If
at
you'd
all.
want to scrum again, get the
Get
penalty.
the penalty,
kick.
22 entry.
So I mean, had it been feelings about that? I mean, it is what it is. We need to adapt.
Teams are going to. You can milk it.
Yeah.
You can milk it.
My issue is if you have the wrong referee, the team can get away with murder because it's just going to be short arms. It's not going to be long arms. And we saw by the end of the game, you know, the resets, the 2 resets, and then not the reward of the scrum. Yes, we got a penalty off the back of that for not rolling away. But I think it gives the referee an option to bail out of the contest.
Yeah. Also, Scala, teams can easily say, listen, we're struggling in the scrum. You come up with a call. Just pre-engage the whole time. Free kick. What would you rather concede, a free kick or a penalty, a long-on penalty?
But the second one, it will be free kick, and second one goes to penalty, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if the referee does a free
Well, it
kick,
didn't happen
there's no
then.
scrum for us.
Yeah, you can't choose a scrum again.
So Marnie came, and he was very good with
I
these
thought he was good with those
contestable
kicks.
kicks.
Look at that. Look, I mean, that's for anyone chasing. That's good work there.
And even the back line, just being able to contest that area, you know, that's an easy win. To be able to get the penalty. Scrum again, yeah. So we're talking about the dominance that we had in the game and not being able to see it on the score. But obviously the previous kick got nailed by Marnie. Total dominance. I feel sometimes we need to do a little bit more
Yeah, I
when you
agree.
have a free go at it like that. When you have the penalty advantage.
I think it's something that we were better so far in this season than last, striking off the back of that. You know, this weekend, maybe a bit too lateral in our option taking. You know, from the first one, like Kirtley gets bundled into touch, at least give yourself a proper go at it. You know, maybe 1 or 2 strikes. Don't just kick it away the first time. We also had one advantage where the referee called advantage over. Scrum penalty advantage was unusual.
Which is this one.
You don't hear that often. So as soon as it goes to boot, I think it's Fassi that puts it on the boot eventually. He calls advantage over, and it's so on here to play. And it nearly comes back to my He kicks the fresh air, which is
there's
the
a charge
knock
down,
on, and he gets the charge down.
So I mean, what would the? Because look,
Chivas, that's what you think. We gotta double up here. We need points, you know. And we're doing so much right, but it's not. We're just not
we're not
coming off.
getting exactly.
Yeah.
You're dominant, but you're not getting points on the board. But also, in fairness, we made a hell of a lot of meters. So I mean, I'm actually, you know, if I was the opposite team, I would say that's a good call
Actually,
as well.
if you ask the referee,
Where's
I
the
think when he called advantage over, he was confused between the two. You know, like I think because like obviously when you kick it off a scrum, they immediately go advantage over or knock on. If you have penalty advantage, they normally allow the kick to roll out.
To happen, yeah.
But he called it as soon as the kick happened.
So
And then it actually worked out like massive gain for us.
But the question is where
you don't
where's the
often,
I think
advantage?
you
you
got
don't
pulled
often
it
see that
pulled it
because
too early there. That knock-on advantage, that's right.
Yeah.
Penalty advantage, there's no advantage.
you'll see teams attack 10 phases with penalty advantage and they still go back to the penalty. You know, this is one phase, albeit scrappy by the end of it, with a charge down kick and then Mapimpi fresher and then another charge down.
But Scala, there's no difference in advantage, and the guys do the speculator, the cross kick. They don't shout advantage over.
Exactly.
Yeah, he got that wrong though.
And also, it's about advantage. So, had we received the penalty at the scrum, you kick it out, suddenly you have a line out in the 22 of the opposition, or close to. Whereas now you're defending.
There's
on
no
the 22.
advantage there.
This one, another scrum. Just too strong, Shimmy.
Gee, was Jaden. Look, do you see what Jaden did there?
No.
Just go back. Look what he does. Do you see that? You scrum offs. Oh, the scrum offs. Look where this ball pops out, but look what he does here.
He just puts his foot down on it.
Look what he does here. So good hit from the pack. Look, it gets lost a bit here, but just look at his right leg there.
He just nudges it straight under his foot again.
He just kicks it back in.
But again, dominance. Having a go, Jaden. Mapimpi just a little bit late on that.
Yeah.
I would like us to do more,
I
off
don't
that
mind the
play
fact
when you have
that
that
I
advantage.
don't mind the fact that Jaden goes. You just can't miss the jump. You
Yeah.
know, like every single back's got to be. If Jaden goes, picks and go, you've got to run. It's almost like playing the continuous touch. You've got to be there for the offload, scoop it up, because you can take a high risk pass there.
Now here's a big dilemma for a captain. Again, we've gone with the strategy, kicking the 3 points. Now this one, which I think you almost feel with Marnie, you give him a more difficult one like this, and chance of him making it might be better than giving
I think it's up to the dialogue, and if he's not fancying it, you get him to go for the touch. And like, to be honest, he's one of the best at this.
He's good at this,
Yeah, kicking it out on the 5. I would just rather err on missing it a little bit to the left than missing it to the right. And you can check his body language. As soon as he hits this, he starts leading, you know.
But also look at him. So he's still there, and then it seems like the ball had a bit of a fade on it.
Fade on it.
Check, he's still ready for it, and then it fades.
Yeah.
The margins are so small there, Sean. He gets it out on the 5. We're clapping our hands.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
What a
we're
kick!
going,
What a kick!
This is the one that's going to give us the lead. So I understand the thinking there. The
I like
forwards
the
would have turned around
bravery
and said,
there.
Give us a bit more.
And that's why you'll pick Marnie, is because how brave he is on attack and his decision making. You just got to build in a bit of fat, you know, like just hit it a little bit to the left. This is beautifully run by them.
Fantastically run by them. But again, coming back to, yes, our scrum is such a big weapon, but then we get beaten. We haven't seen our team attack like this and get the kind of line breaks from the scrum.
Yeah.
You know, and they just get parity at this scrum and should have scored.
Yeah, should have.
He makes a pass on the outside.
Again, that's
they
just
score.
a one-on-one missed tackle.
The ankle tap gets him.
Yeah.
Fussy was outstanding in defense. And we've all been there where you think, okay, I've got one more yard to run and then come make the pass, and then the ankle tap just trips you up.
But the setup there defensively was fine. It's again, I think, was it Lucanio?
Yeah.
With the one-on-one missed tackle.
It's how late he comes, and it's the movement on the ball.
Yeah.
Which means, you know, Lucanio's a little bit too tight, and he skims him on the outside. And then obviously Jaden's trying to catch up, and he gets the fend on him. And this is the penalty for not rolling away, which, you know, for me is a little bit soft, because this referee quite clearly pinned us hard. Anyone, us and them, you know, if you're in that space, that's his trigger. And, you know, you just got to give that fight up a bit earlier. Like, you want to fight for every single moment. You want to spend time in that tackle process, in the ruck, to slow the ball down. But if that compromises your way of exiting that tackle situation, just give it up. Land on the right side of the ball.
I think what I want to emphasize is that was the difference at the end in the game. Okay, because they get the penalty in our 22, kick the 3 point, 29-28.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So a strength of ours, not being able to capitalize on that on the scoreboard. Yes, we're dominant and it looked great and all that, but how do we turn that into points? And I think that is a bit of a concern at this stage, especially with this game. And that one, Shimi?
This was painful.
Please,
Yeah, it's unlucky this.
That's the wrong call. Argentina haven't looked like scrumming us once. Our hit's been dominant. All of a sudden now, they almost take a bit of a fade back, and we got penalized for keeping the same intensity on our hit. Winning the hit is part of the skill of actually scrumming. There, and also
They've just come on. Hey?
yeah,
Like
they've just come on. Yeah.
So, like, he resets it twice at the end of the game. That's the first time they really had to feel each other. He doesn't reset. He goes straight to a short arm. But hence he sets, you know, resets 2 in the end and then doesn't get the penalty off it. So for me, that was so harsh, because, like, you get a penalty there. I mean, we're so in the mix to close this game out.
Yeah.
It's bizarre, but we've seen it also. We saw it against Australia. We were so dominant once. Oxenchat at one stage was actually trying to almost wheel the scrum around by himself because we're getting penalized for being too dominant.
Yeah.
That's the wrong call there. I disagree with that one.
Massive moment.
It is a massive moment. 6 minutes left in the game now, and I think what I want to show here is our ability to compete. At least when Eben came back on, under massive pressure, you concede points. It's a definite loss. But this one and the next line out, being able to steal these balls and give us at least a chance, and eventually we did get in a position to be able to get the win.
Yeah, it's such a big difference in
Experience.
how dynamic.
Yeah. He's so good
Our
at it.
line-out is if when Eben's there compared to Salman Murat, obviously just a different body type, but way more static on the floor. Doesn't get up. And for me, like that's such a poor exit off there as well. Like I mean, we've seen through Albanos how far he bangs it. If they pass it back to him, like Mane is in a position there where they can pass it back to Mane, and he can have a proper 30-meter clearance on it.
But again, now the
like
next
Eben is exceptional in how he moves around, and what that does is that gives Ruan Norkier the opportunity to sit back and play his own little game, and then often, hookers make problems or mistakes off the back of that.
again, get the turnover, good kick, good chase, tackle out. You in again. You 10 minutes in your own half. You now get a line out to be able to get into their half,
Exceptional
to be
kick
able
under
to get in
pressure.
a position to get a penalty and win the game.
And I mean, you feel sorry for him, but this is his Achilles heel, this one. And I will say a few things on this. You normally see Mane go to the shot clock with 2 seconds left. Now he's got 15 seconds left, which means
He rushed it.
he's rushed it 100%. We normally with him sit and wait for him to pull the trigger. He sits and looks at it for a long, long time. So if he rushed that one, it's bread and butter for them, and he has a little snatch at it, unfortunately, which puts a blemish on his name, But like he's such a brave player, such a nice player to watch.
Yeah, I feel sorry for him with that. Look, the reality is, John, a lot of people look at that and say, Mane should have gotten that kick over. So, but there's a lot more opportunities pre that.
Throughout the game.
From 17-0 up, it was almost like individual missed tackles.
Yeah.
Late cleans, missed lineouts, maybe wrong calling at the lineouts, maybe the throw didn't hit the button.
Yeah.
So there's a combination of things. But this is when rugby goes from being a team sport
Yeah,
to being an individual sport.
One miss, but so many other opportunities that we had throughout the game.
Yeah, I mean, like it's one kick, but that's what rugby boils down to. It's the big moments. And we wouldn't be world champions if Handré Pollard didn't kick it against England.
Yeah.
Or if Barrett and Mohanga missed in the final.
Yeah.
And let's think of our recent games against them. Cape Town, if Mackenzie didn't miss it slap bang in front,
Yeah.
we probably wouldn't have won the second test. So the margins are so fine. And that's why, if you're the kicker or if you're a goal kicker, you've got to have the big moments. You've got to have, the ability to slot those kicks. And that's something Mane's got to work on and improve over the years. We've seen players do it before, and I'm no doubt he's talented enough to do that.
I know we've seen Mane do it for the Stormers. You remember there's that famous
Semi-final.
one, the one to get the Stormers into the final for the URC. So it's definitely there. Look, I feel for the young guy because the abuse, you already go on social media and what's happening there. It's not nice. You know what I mean? It's not. And John, I think you mentioned it. Does that one missed kick now make the Springboks a bad team?
Yeah.
Considering what they did in the beginning and all that and what they've achieved this season. No, it doesn't. So it's just one of those moments. He'll definitely get through it. He's good enough. He works hard enough on it. But yeah, it happens in sport.
But what it does do is set up Humbumbela for a firecracker.
But would it not have been a bit of a downer to win the rugby championship?
I think the
in
people of the
Argentina?
Lowveld would have arrived there and basically had a victory dance for a whole weekend. But the intensity now is going to ramp up because, when we all get nervous as South Africans, the briars start earlier and they go longer. And if the previous test match there against the All Blacks is anything to go by 2 years ago, where they drank the stadium dry before kickoff happened, I think this might be a replica of that. Yeah.
Well, we've got the braai going as well outside to celebrate Heritage Day tomorrow. But before we do get to that, we have to give our very honest
We knew this
verdict.
day was coming.
Very honest verdict on this performance. And it's not about, abusing players or the team or anything like that. I think for us is we just know how good this team is. You're going to have off days. And it's not as if, they weren't committed to the cause or anything like that. But it wasn't the best performance that we've seen from the Boks.
No, it wasn't. Like, I think defensively it's probably the poorest performance we've had since I can remember. So if you can rank the defense alone, you'll probably say, well, that's probably a 3 or 4. But there was so much good in that first 14 that the team was prepped properly and our game plan clearly worked. And then we obviously lost momentum through the yellow card and them having that try-scoring blitz of 4 tries. But I'll have to give us a 6, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say probably 6.5. For me, it's mainly the defense, an area where you could certainly, that's what the Springbok success has been built on, is our defense. We've been solid as anything. the points have come through pressures to suffocate and strangle, which we managed at scrums there. So if you look at the way sometimes we default, well, you know, to win finals, you need to win the big moments. And this was the equivalent of a final, and we just didn't do it. So I'd probably go a 6.5 out of 10.
We'll give them a 6, and also in giving them a 6, I think credit to Argentina.
Yeah.
Good performance by them. Fantastic to come back after being 17 zip down. The heart they showed, the tactical changes that they made throughout the game. You know, you need to give credit to them, and no doubt that it is set up for an unbelievable final of the Rugby Championship at Mbombela.
I'm there.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm there.
I'm not.
Tuesday.
Sorry, have you got every weekend off? Or how does it work?
You're there from Tuesday.
You work Sundays only.
Scala, it's your last verdict. Are you not joining us
No,
next
I'm
week,
not
are you?
joining next week. I'm actually heading off to Scotland on
Poor
Sunday.
thing.
Tough life.
That's if I can get back in time to catch my flight.
We're gonna see if Luet de Jager can join us again. Shimmy, Luet, and myself. Before we get to that, we're gonna go to the braai and then wrap it all up there, because it's Heritage Day tomorrow. We want to celebrate that, and we want to go get a piece of wors and choppy and a steakie.
That's your best
breakfast.
work.
Yeah.
Well done.
Stuttering, but beautiful.
Lekker dinner.
Lekker Dylan, I like heerlijk hoor.
Good.
Medium rare for me.
Thank you very much. Look at that.
Thanks, Dylan. Good job. Yeah. On Heritage Day, guys, on the Bokke.
Oppie
you.
bokke.
Thank
didn't
you.
get
Thanks
the
for the
win.
starters. Thanks, Dylan.
We didn't get the win, but we're still celebrating Heritage Day and being South African. Het is lekker om Suid-Afrikaans te doen.
Ja.
Cheers allemaal.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.